International, www.netivyahinternational.org.
Shalom, my name is Joseph Shulam, and together with Brad TV, we're continuing every week the Torah portion that is being read in all the synagogues. And we started last week with the book of Exodus, the first portion of Exodus that started in chapter 1, verse 1, and ended up in chapter 6, verse 1. Chapter 6, verse 1 of the book of Exodus says, Then the Lord said to Moses, Now you shall see what I will do to Pharaoh. For with a strong hand he will let them go, and with a strong hand he will drive them out of his own land. What does this text tell us? When Moses went to Egypt to tell Pharaoh, let my people go, the first time, things didn't get better for the children of Israel. In fact, they got worse. The children of Israel cried and begged for some relief from the work that they had, from the slavery that was imposed upon them. Instead of giving them relief, Pharaoh made it harder for them. He made them also get the straw to make the bricks that will build the cities of Egypt. He hardened his heart against Egypt, the children of Israel. And now we're in chapter 6, verse 2, the new portion of the Torah. It's called Vaera, and it means I have appeared, I have shown myself to our forefathers, and now I'm going to show myself to Pharaoh, and he will know who I am. That's the essence of the beginning of this chapter 6, verse 2. And we have a great revelation. A revelation that is earth-shaking, literally earth-shaking, my dear brothers. Great revelation. I'm reading from the New King James Version, chapter 6 of Exodus, verse 2. And God spoke to Moses and said to him, I am the Lord. I appeared to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob as God Almighty, El Shaddai in Hebrew. But by my name, Jehovah, Yud He Vav He, the Tetragrammaton, I was not known to them. And I have also established my covenant with them to give them the land of Canaan, the land their pilgrimage, in which they were strangers. And I have also heard the groaning of the children of Israel, whom the Egyptians keep in bondage, and I have remembered my covenant, in other words, my promises to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Very important text. Why is it so important text? We find out here the formula to negate and dismiss one of the prevailing doctrines of modern biblical scholarship. And that is that the Torah was written by 4 different schools, maybe by more than 4 different writers, and this is called the documentary hypothesis. My first lesson, my first day at the Hebrew University in 1964. I go to the freshman class in the university, in other words, first year student in the university. I go to one of the most popular classes of that day, Bible class. And a young Orthodox man with curls on the head, kippah, white shirt, black pants, standing on the stage, 700 students in the auditorium, big class, because studying Tanakh, Bible at that time was very, very popular. In 1964, it was very popular. It was before the 6-Day War. And this young Orthodox man just got his doctorate from the Hebrew University, and he opens up his mouth and he says, Moses did not write the Torah. Oh, all the students, Moses did not write the Torah. We are Jews. We know Moses wrote the Torah. No, he said, no, you, and he gave us a bibliography, started with Wellhausen's Prolegomena, and then Devedev, von Rad, and all the 19th century and early 20th century scholars. But this text tells us something else. It says, yes, it's true. It's true that our forefathers did not know the Tetragrammaton, the 4 letters, the name, the holy name of the Lord, which is pronounced Jehovah, Yahweh, all kinds of pronunciation, modern pronunciation. There is all kinds of sects in the Christian world, the Yahweh, 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 all kinds of crazy things that are happening in the Western world. Nobody knows how to pronounce it. Definitely the Jews don't know, the rabbis don't know, and in fact, the New Testament doesn't have it. Yeah, the Tetragrammaton doesn't appear in the New Testament from the mouth of the apostles, but Lord appears, which is the way that the Jews already in the BC, before Christ period, already didn't even write it. The most ancient manuscripts of the Hebrew Torah have the Tetragrammaton, the 4 letters written not in Hebrew script, not in Aramaic script, which is the Hebrew script, the modern Hebrew script, and the script in the days of Yeshua. It was written in the dots, in the ancient Canaanite script. And you can see that in the manuscripts. Most old manuscripts of the Torah, from the Dead Sea Scrolls and others, you see that it's written in totally different alphabet than modern Hebrew alphabet, than the Aramaic alphabet that we use. They used then and we use today. So I didn't reveal myself to the... Oh, you read the story of creation. Yes, the name of the Lord is there. But the story of creation was written after Moses, or by Moses. So yes, it's a kind of interesting text, which tells us, yeah, there is a progressive revelation that this text tells us. I did not make myself known to your forefathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob by my name, Jehovah. I was revealed to them as God Almighty, El Shaddai. Yeah, that's important principle to learn, that there is such a thing as progressive revelation. And now I'm revealing to you my proper name. And now I'm telling you that I know what's going on in Egypt. That's what God tells Moses. I know what's going on in Egypt. I know what Pharaoh is doing to the children of Israel. But I also remember my promises, my covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. I am the Lord. Verse 6 of chapter 6. I will bring you out from under the bondage of the Egyptians, and I will rescue you from their bondage, and I will redeem you with an outstretched arm and with great judgments. And I will take you as my people, and I will be your God. Then you shall know that I am the Lord your God, who brings you out of under the bondage of the Egyptians, and I will bring you into the land which I swore to give to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and I will give it to you a heritage. I am the Lord. This statement here is a repetition of the promises that God gave to Abraham and to Isaac and to Jacob, and is still faithful to keep his promises. That's a very simple truth, but probably the most important truth in the whole Bible. God is not a liar, and He doesn't renege on His promises. It might look, if you look at take a certain chapter of Jewish history, Israelite history, and separate it from the larger context, say God is not keeping His promise. They're in Babylon for 70 years in exile. They're 2,000 years in exile in the Christian world, in the European Christian world, and in the American Christian world. They're in exile 2,000 years. Yep, that's true. God promised that too to the prophets of Israel. He promised it to Isaiah. He promised it to Jeremiah. He promised it to Ezekiel. He promised it to our prophets, that He's going to send us out. And He sent us out because of our sin. But He also promised, I will gather you back. We have chapter 36 and 37 of Ezekiel. The dry bones, the heaps of dry bones will put on flesh and sinew and tendons and come alive, and they will return home to the land of Israel. It's all here in this very small capture of 7 verses in chapter 6 of Exodus. Yes, you are in bondage. I told Abraham your father that you will be in bondage in chapter 15 of the book of Exodus, when I revealed myself to him in the vision of the animals that were cut in half, and I passed through them as a flaming torch in chapter 15 of Genesis. And I'm telling you, I'm the same God. I keep my word. I keep my promise. The children of Israel will come out of Egypt. And the world will know it. And Egypt will know it. This is a very, very important text, folks. Chapter 6 of the book of Exodus, the first verses. And the Egyptians will realize that they made a mistake. When they took me on, and they took my people on, and they enslaved them, they will know that I am the Lord by what they're going to experience, by the judgment that I'm going to put, the great judgment and the outstretched arm that I will put on the Egyptians. They will beg the children of Israel to leave and to go free. And I will bring you back to the land which I promised Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. That promise appears 20 times in the Torah. We're today in Israel, we're living it out, folks. We are experiencing, and you, my Christian brothers in Korea and around the world, can see this happening. And you need to partner with us, especially with the Jewish disciples of Yeshua in the land, that bring not only the physical restoration of Israel, but bring the spiritual restoration of Israel. Not Presbyterians or Methodists or Baptists or Pentecostals or Catholics or Greek Orthodox. No, we are bringing back the heritage of Israel from inside of Israel. That heritage is Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, who never became a Gentile, and He never was a Presbyterian, and neither was Paul of the other apostles or Methodist or Baptist or any Christian man-made denomination. Yeah? Because when I travel in the world and I ask people, my Christian brothers, who is the founder of your church? So they say, well, Calvin, John Wesley, John Knox, Alexander Campbell, Luther. Folks, we're not talking about this. This is not in the Bible. In the Bible, there is one body, of one Christ, of one Lord, of one baptism, of one Holy Spirit. And God's promises are valid today as they were valid to the children of Israel when they were enslaved in Egypt. Yes, the same promises that God promised that appear so many times, the same God that is faithful to keep His word and to keep his promises is the same God today. Is our God is still the Father of Yeshua HaMashiach. Yeshua HaMashiach is still sitting on his right hand, folks. And this is all here in this text in chapter 6 of Genesis. Then, verse 10 of chapter 6, the Lord spoke to Moses and said, "Go in, tell Pharaoh the king of Egypt to let the children of Israel go out of his land." Moses spoke before the Lord, saying, "The children of Israel have not heeded me. How then shall Pharaoh heed me? For I am of uncircumcised lips, I stutter, I don't talk straight." And if the children of Israel themselves don't believe me, and don't hear me, and don't obey me, and look at me with strange eyes, how would fellow Egyptian Pharaoh listen to me? I don't have credibility among my own people. Folks, I don't have credibility among which politician in the history of Israel, which king in the history of Israel has had credibility? King David enjoyed the credibility for a season, but at the end of his life, he already didn't have credibility. We are a strange people. On the one hand, we're wonderful, talented, gifted. On the other hand, my dear brothers and sisters, we're difficultly give credibility to anybody. David Ben-Gurion, the great founder of the state of Israel, the first prime minister of Israel, did he have credibility? No. He got criticized. And every prime minister and every president we've had gets criticized and loses credibility very quickly. He enjoys credibility a month or 2 or 3 months, 6 months of his career as a politician, but after that, boom. We're not an easy people, but we're a special people, God's chosen people. And the same thing happened to Moses. Moses says to God, "Well, you were sending me to Pharaoh. My own people don't believe me. My own people don't give me credit. What do you want from me?" Then the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron and gave them a command for the children of Israel and for Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, to bring the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. And then we have the genealogy, chapter 6, verse 14. These are the heads. No, chapter 6 of Genesis. Verse 13, and the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron and gave them command for the children of Israel and for Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to bring the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. It's your job. God says to Moses and Aaron, it's your job to bring the children of Israel out of Egypt. I'll give you the tools. I'll give you the instruments to bring them out, but it's your job to bring them out of the land of Egypt. And then we have this genealogy. These are the heads of their fathers' houses. The sons of Reuben, the firstborn of Jacob. The son Hanoch, Palu, Hetzron. The genealogy of the children of Israel starts here, but it's a very strange genealogy. It's very important for us to understand it. When they get to Moses and Aaron, the genealogy stops. What do we learn about this genealogy? And all the genealogies in the Bible, they are political instruments. This genealogy comes and it starts with Reuben. Well, when they got to Levi and to Aaron and Moses, that's it. The purpose of this genealogy is to tell you, where does Moses and Aaron come from? It starts with Reuben. It gives you the impression that I'm going to give you the genealogy of all the children of Israel. No. It has a political use to explain where does Moses and Aaron came from, and not to give you a true historical genealogy. And all the genealogies in the Bible are given there for political reasons. not for historical reasons, but for political reasons in the days in which the text was written. Yeah, you get to verse 20 of chapter 6. Now Amram took for himself Yocheved, his father's sister, as a wife, and she bore him Aaron and Moses. And the years of the life of Amram were 137 years, and son of Yitzhar were Korach, Nepheg, Zichri, the sons of Uziel, and that's it. You get to the family of the tribe of Levi, and Aaron and Moses, to whom the Lord said, bring out the children of Israel, verse 26 of chapter 6. Okay, we are approaching the continuation of this portion of the Ve'era, and I showed myself to Moses and Aaron, and then through them to Pharaoh. And Moses continues his song and dance. Chapter 6, verse, Moses said before the Lord, behold, I am uncircumcised lips. How shall I, Pharaoh, listen to me? I'm stuttering. And God said to Moses in chapter 7, listen, you go, and Aaron, your brother, is going to be your prophet. You will be like God unto Aaron, and Aaron will be like your prophet. He will speak your piece, your text. And from there on, Aaron and Moses together faced Pharaoh on numerous occasions. And God hardens the heart of Pharaoh. And the revelation is this, folks. Very important lesson. The revelation is that the purpose that God hardens the heart of Pharaoh is to demonstrate to Pharaoh, to Egypt, and to us in all generations of what God is capable of doing to accomplish his goal. 10 plagues fall on Egypt. 10 plagues that each one gets worse than the other. And in those 10 plagues, God shows the following. First of all, I control nature. I control your main god, the river Nile. I control it. I can poison it. It can turn into blood. I control your agriculture, the locusts, the frogs. I control your health with plagues. I control the sun and the moon, the light and the darkness. And finally, I control your lives, your future, your firstborn of Egypt. This is Exodus. This is a message that we all need to learn today. You know, we think that Google controls, Facebook controls, or WhatsApp controls, or our computers and our modern electronics control our lives. No, sir. Let's not forget, the ultimate controller is God, and we have his roadmap from Genesis to Revelation. And the quicker we realize this, the quicker we're going to be happier, stronger, more capable, more effective, and more serving of each other and of our God who created the heavens and the earth. May God bless all of you, dear brothers. Continue reading the Bible. Shalom.
Netivyah International, www.netivyah international.org.